My name is Larry Klayman. As you know, I'm the founder of both Judicial Watch and Freedom Watch, currently the chairman and general counsel of Freedom Watch. In my book, It Takes a Revolution, I discuss how federal judges are appointed and confirmed, how they're the product of politics, political campaign contributions, and other means of grease to put them on the bench. John Adams said, without ethics, morality, and religion, we would not have a lasting liberty. But even more importantly, another founding father, Thomas Jefferson, said that federal judges, unelected, unaccountable to the people, would become despots and tyrants, causing us to shed the blood of patriots and tyrants yet again every 20 years or so. He didn't want to see that happen, neither do I. But because of the fact that we have these politicians in robes on the bench, and that's why I founded Judicial Watch on July 29th, 1994, because I had experienced it, is that our justice system is in shambles, and it's inconsistent. People think, and President Trump used to boast when he was president, he still is in my mind, that he had appointed great judges to the bench, over 300 or so. I think maybe it was 600 even. But you know what? These judges are not worth their salt, because they are the product of the establishment. They are the product of the people that got them their jobs, the grease that was applied by special interest groups like American Conservative Union, Federalist Society, other Republican lobbyists. They're not people that are courageous. And now what we have found is that with the complete trashing and vilification of President Trump, they're running away from the people, from the person rather, who appointed them. Just yesterday, Judge Carl Nichols, a Republican appointee, issued a ruling denying a motion to dismiss by Mike Lindell, by Rudy Giuliani, and Sidney Powell by Dominion Voting Systems. Now, whether or not there was defamation here or not is not the issue. The issue is if this case had been Larry Klayman and it had been a conservative lawyer bringing a lawsuit against someone other than President Trump, someone on the left, almost certainly the case would have been dismissed. Defamation cases these days, judges don't want to do anything to further the interests of conservatives, people of faith, or those who believe in the vision of our founding fathers. I've been through it. I wrote about it in my book, It Takes a Revolution, Forget the Scandal Industry. As just one example among many, when my friend, colleague, and client Joe Arpaio, America's sheriff, was trashed, defamed as a felon, a judge that I had great respect for, Royce Lamberth, dismissed the case. Clearly, it was a question for the jury to determine, because he was not a felon. He was simply found liable for a misdemeanor. And another judge had ruled with regard to an individual, the same thing happened to that case could go forward. That's just one example. So I want you to understand that because there are Trump judges does not mean that these judges are furthering the interests either of the Constitution, the vision of our founding fathers, the rule of law, much less the interests of President Trump or the conservatives that put them on the bench. Because they weren't put on the bench by conservatives. They were put on the bench by sleazy lobbyists. Lobbyists who, in addition to the money usually contributed by the judge himself, grease the skids to get them their job. And that's the problem, because if we don't have judges who are neutral, independent, who stand in the stead for the American people against the tyranny of the other two branches of government and ourselves, then we are in a revolutionary mode, as Thomas Jefferson predicted would occur. Judges, in principle, are our most important public servants. There are many state judges who are good because they're accountable to the people. They're elected. They're not put on the bench through political campaign contributions and other forms of bribery. They don't think they're there for life. They can be removed. They're respectful to the lawyers generally that appear in front of them. But the federal judges think they're God. They think that they can do whatever they want. They think they can dismiss cases just because they don't like it, doesn't comport with their politics or the people that put them on the bench. Now, this doesn't always happen, but it happens more than you would think. And it is a serious problem, because without honest judges, then this country is going to explode. I attribute the events of January 6th, 2021, which the left has called insurrection, to be the result primarily of the federal judiciary and the Supreme Court justices that Trump put on the bench, who wouldn't even give him a hearing. That was the final straw of people, mostly peaceful, who went to the Capitol, because they had seen, on top of all the corruption over all these years, that the beautiful elite people of Washington, D.C. walk away from accountability, but others are held accountable in our legal system and persecuted. They saw that that was the final straw. And that is a prophecy of Thomas Jefferson that we hope will not come true in the future, because we don't want to see this country devolve into a revolution. We don't want to see it to be other than a peaceful and legal revolution, not a bloody revolution, which Jefferson predicted. And without judges that mete out the law, that's where we're headed. So I wanted to come forward with this today because, if this case had involved anyone other than Trump, this case probably would not have gone forward. But because it involved Trump, even the judges that he appointed have run away from him because they don't want to be part of Trump anymore. And they've abandoned him, and they've abandoned the American people. And again, the issue of whether or not Mike Lindell, Sidney Powell, and Rudy Giuliani defamed anyone is an issue for the jury. The judge actually made the right decision. But on the other hand, if it had been another circumstance, it probably would have been a different decision. It was because it was President Trump that he did the right thing, Judge Nichols, in letting it go forward. But if it had been another situation, you can forget it, and this is the problem. I hope I've been clear. If not, contact me at leclayman@gmail.com. Read my book, It Takes a Revolution, Forget the Scandal Industry. And I want you to go to another website,
freenation.org.
freenation.org. We've just signed up for that. I want you to support that website. It's run by people who are true conservatives, who believe in the rule of law, who believe in the vision of our founding fathers. People like Andrea Kaye of Salem Network in San Diego are involved. I recommend you to go to that website. Thank you for listening to me. I'll be back tomorrow with another YouTube broadcast. Read my book, Read My Lips, It Takes a Revolution. Read it in addition to the one that Mark Levin is promoting of his own American Marxism, because I actually give you a real plan on how we can wage a peaceful and legal revolution. Marx simply says protest, write more, and boycott. That's not enough. We need citizens' grand juries. We need third continental congresses. We need other hard-hitting matters that are peaceful and legal to restore the nation to our vision of our founding fathers. Thank you for listening to me. I'll be back tomorrow.